The Diddler's trial is about to begin very soon, and there have been a lot of things that have been happening behind closed doors that the media hasn't been publicizing. For example, Diddy has filed multiple motions so they cannot use the evidence that they seized within the raids. I mean, what kind of motion is that? They literally seized and raided his homes to get evidence. Now he's trying to say don't use it. That just confirms the fact that whatever they captured in those homes, in those multiple raids, is some hard evidence against him within this trial to come. I mean, just like the Cassie video. That video in itself was suppressed for so long until it came out. And that is what really set the fire aflame. That's what ended up putting him to jail. Because once the public was aware of that, they were like, yo, why is this man even out here scotch-free? So we're going to get a lot of details of what's about to happen for this upcoming trial when it comes to the jury, new victims that are going to be testifying against him, and how he doesn't want to have certain evidence being shown within the trial itself. So without further ado, smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notification for these multiple daily uploads for y'all. Let's get straight into this.
Who are the types of people that they want on that jury?
I assume one of their themes is going to be that, they're going after an African-American wealthy male. Number one, they're probably going to want minority. I also think they're going to try to get women. Studies have shown that women being on the jury are more sympathetic, and also women judge women harsher than a man judges a woman. Women they're more sympathetic when it comes to these types of cases than men. I know it doesn't sound like that.
I would think if the alleged abuse is against a lot of women, you wouldn't want women on the jury.
You would think that. Look, again, this is all science, not me. And those are two of the characteristics that Diddy's team is going to be looking for.
Diddy wants all of the evidence in his case thrown out. Diddy just filed a motion to the judge seeking to suppress all of the evidence from all of the raids that were done on him. Diddy is trying to say that the government got search warrants based on the stories from multiple people that are lying because they had financial incentives to do so. And in this motion, Diddy got raided a lot more times than what I even knew about. Diddy is asking the court to suppress all evidence and all fruits obtained from the following search warrants. The first one on January 4th of 2024 to search Diddy's iCloud accounts. The search warrants on March 22nd of 2024, which were to search his Los Angeles residence and his Miami residence. A search warrant that was performed 3 days later on March 25th of 2024 to search Diddy's person and to seize and search 2 of his cell phones, referred to the government as Combs number 1 and Combs number 2, and to extract the information from those cell phones. Another search warrant that was served on September 16th of 2024 to search his person again.
Yeah, they definitely got crazy evidence against him. If they went through his iCloud and his phones, they got him.
And to seize and search 2 additional cell phones, referred by the government as Combs number 3 and Combs number 4. And a search warrant that was performed September 16th of 2024, the day Diddy was arrested, to search his room at the Park Hyatt Hotel and seize evidence. And in this motion, Diddy is asking for a Franks hearing, which is a court proceeding that challenges the validity of a search warrant. Now, Diddy is saying that the government's warrants application hid critical evidence regarding the credibility of other witnesses. He said that the government sought to corroborate victim one's allegations and make related allegations with statements from other witnesses and victims. And they're trying to say that one of the people that they relied on was this worker number 1, but a lot of this information is blacked out, so you don't know exactly what he's saying. He also said they got information from Assistant 1. Now, I think Assistant 1 might just be Philip Hines, the man that just was on the fall of Diddy and showed us all of these receipts and text messages from his time working with Diddy. This man had so much and even admitted that he testified to the grand jury. Not only did he have tons of text messages from Diddy's ex-chief of staff, Christina Coram, he also had a ton of voice notes from Diddy that he played on the fall of Diddy. And all of this had to do with those break-off parties that at the time he called Wild King Nights. He then goes on to say that the government used Producer 1, and some of the most salacious allegations recounted in the warrants came from Producer 1, who the government now says it will people not even called to testify at trial. The investigator indicated that it had interviewed Producer One, and Producer One had relayed stories about his time working for Diddy. And I'm pretty sure that this is Little Rod Jones, who filed a lawsuit against Diddy, who was a producer during the Love album. Diddy then went on to talk about how they used Victim 2 and Victim 3 to help get these search warrants. And even Victim 4, which we have never heard about yet. Diddy just got hit with a superseding indictment that included 2 more victims. But in this motion, Diddy lists victim number 4. But Diddy tries to say that the government made no effort to corroborate Victim 4's claims. And if it had conducted a reasonable investigation...
Bro, it's just come to the point, like, the victims are countless. And if he is actually convicted and like found guilty for the amount of allegations against him, I mean, that's like 2,000 years at this point.
It would have obtained evidence contradicting her account. Diddy also says that the government used designer number 1. And I'm pretty sure designer number 1 is Cassie's best friend, who worked as a designer for Diddy and Cassie, who is the same woman who was hung over that balcony in that hotel when Diddy was allegedly attacking Cassie. If you remember, a couple months ago, she sued Diddy, but also when the feds just put out their superseding indictment, they listed this part in that superseding indictment. Now, Diddy is basically trying to say that the government didn't get these search warrants basically in a legal way. They used fabricated stories to get these search warrants because these people had a financial motive to lie. I think the only reason Diddy is saying that they had a financial motive to lie is because all of these people actually had lawsuits. The assistant, Philip Pines, he has a lawsuit. Little Rod Jones, he has a lawsuit. Cassie, if she's victim number 1, she has a lawsuit. The designer that was hung over the balcony, she has a lawsuit. So it's almost like Diddy is using them having lawsuits against him by trying to say that they have financial motives to lie. He says not only did they have the general financial motive to fabricate something, that information would be put mildly and raise doubts about their credibility. So basically saying that the government got search warrants not even knowing if these people were actually credible. In my opinion.
I mean, one thing we know for a fact is that Diddy's in a tight situation. He's going to use any loophole, anything he could possibly grasp onto to say that what they're saying is a lie. He needs to. He's trying his hardest to finagle his way out of this situation here. Him and his lawyers. And I heard that one of his lawyers even quit on him because he's like, "Yo, how the hell am I about to finagle you out of this joint, bro? There's too much evidence." But let's continue.
I think that this is going to go anywhere. I think Diddy is really just trying to stop and pray and hope that all of this evidence gets suppressed because then they can't use it in trial against him. I think Diddy knows out of all of these raids that were done on him, the evidence that they have is pretty damning. But I don't know. Y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Diddy's lawyer quits on him 3 months before his trial. Now, this could happen for a lot of different reasons, but either way, it's not so good for Diddy to have a lawyer back.
We know the main reason why that's happening, bro. Because we know damn well that this lawyer right here, he would be getting the best payday of his life. It's more of like a moral conviction for this lawyer. Because if he's not just doing it, if he was doing it for the money, he would be working for him. If he wasn't just doing it for the money, he wanted to do it for justice and a moral, like he wanted to keep himself morally in check, that would be the only reason why he would be stop working for Diddy. Because he probably looked at the evidence, he probably got a good understanding of everything that was going on. He was like, "Yo, bro, I'm not going to fight for you when at the end of the day, you did it, allegedly."
Out 3 months before your trial. And the way that Diddy's lawyer wrote this motion to the judge saying that he wants to quit representing Diddy doesn't really sound so great. Now, Diddy actually has multiple lawyers that are working on his case, but this one, Anthony Rico, started working for Diddy on September 22nd of 2024. And this man couldn't just hop, skip, and leave. He actually had to write a declaration to the judge asking her if he can drop out of Diddy's criminal trial. Now, Anthony Rico says, as a result of discussions with the lead counsel, who is Mark Agnafilio, this motion for withdrawal of the counsel is filed. And he says, "I am aware aware that the local rule requires an application for him to withdraw as a counsel for Diddy. He says he knows it's usually only granted upon showing an affidavit or other satisfactory means for withdrawal. He really can't explain it because the reason why he's leaving is protected under the Attorney-Client Privilege Act. He goes on to say, although I have provided Sean Combs with the high level of legal representation expected by the court, under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs consistent with the ABA standards for criminal justice. Honestly, there's a lot of different reasonings why he could have to drop out as Diddy's counsel. It could be due to a conflict of interest that might appear later on in Diddy's case. It could be something that he knows about the criminal trial that he shouldn't know and basically thinks that Diddy has no chance of winning this criminal trial. It could even possibly be that Diddy has no money and he doesn't want to pay this man, but the way he words it is pretty sketchy. He says, without violating any aspect of the attorney-client privilege or otherwise providing any details whatsoever on the grounds of supporting the application, the government has been notified of filing this motion to withdraw as counsel. And basically he's saying the government has no objections to this, so he's hoping that the judge goes ahead and accepts him being able to withdraw as Diddy's counsel. Him dropping out as Diddy's counsel will not result in a delay of the present schedule for jury selection and trial or the present schedules for briefing of pretrial legal issues.
I mean, family, y'all comment down below. Why would a lawyer be quitting his job to be Diddy's lawyer? I mean, he started it. You know, he signed up for it, but then he quit midway. What do y'all think the reason is?
And he's saying this because the timeline has already been laid out all the way up until Diddy's trial on May 5th. There's only 3 more months left until Diddy's trial actually starts. But y'all let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments. Diddy is about to have victims testifying against him in his criminal trial over his past criminal conduct. And honestly, this is some really big news that we are learning in Diddy's criminal trial, so we're about to go over exactly what it means right now. The judge in Diddy's criminal case just told the government that they need to get ready to give the names of individuals that want to testify against Diddy over his past criminal conduct and bad acts. And this is done in a 404B letter and also the 413 notice.
I don't know. It's really seeming like he's about to get at least some time. Because the amount of people that are about to be testifying against him, and then you have the jury listening to it all. We saw what he did to Cassie. Like, he's gonna be doing some time.
To get into exactly what all of this is. The government is saying that they have 404B evidence against Diddy, which is witnesses and victims also wanting to testify against Diddy for prior criminal conduct or prior bad acts that he may or may have not ever been held responsible for. Generally, this type of thing is admissible to prove a person's character to commit a crime, but it can be admitted for the purposes like proving motive, opportunity, intent, preparation, planning, knowledge, identity, or absence of a mistake. And the way that this is wrote out, it seems like some of these witnesses or victims' testimonies are going to have to do with Rule 413, which is similar crimes and SA cases. In a criminal case in which a defendant is accused of SA, the court may admit evidence that the defendant had committed any other SA acts. The evidence may be considered on any other matter to which is relevant. It seems like the government is about to bring in witnesses and alleged victims from other SA acts to testify on the stand of Diddy's alleged prior bad actions dealing with SA. And to use this type of evidence in a trial, the prosecutor has to disclose this to the defendant, including the witness statements or a summary of the expected testimony, which we know is what they are talking about right now that they just had to hand over to Diddy. Now, the judge also said that any potential Rule 412 motions must be made by March 28th of 2025. Rule 412 that the judge is talking about prohibits the use of the following evidence that is not admissible in civil or criminal proceedings involving alleged SA misconduct. This Rule 412 doesn't allow evidence being offered to prove that a victim engaged in other physical behaviors. And it also stops evidence offered to prove a victim's pre-deposition. Basically, you can't use a victim's past physical relations against them. So what this means, in Diddy's trial, the government is getting ready to use other witnesses and alleged victims that are going to give testimony against Diddy for alleged prior bad acts that they went through that has nothing to do with this criminal case. So the government has also added this type of evidence to Diddy's criminal trial, where they're going to try to have these witnesses or alleged victims' testimonies as well to try to show intent or motive. I am very curious who these people are about to be that are about to testify against Diddy for prior bad acts, and also SA, but they are not involved in this criminal case. They are basically just going to try to prove motive for the federal government. This is some crazy information to be learning.
They're basically like setting the ground. Like they're setting the foundation and setting the bias for the jury. If they're able to hear prior criminal acts that have nothing to do with this case, that's definitely setting a bias on the side that, Diddy does do the things that he's allegedly being convicted for.
And we keep learning more and more information as we're getting closer to Diddy's trial. I'm really curious about who all we're going to hear from. The Fed said at the beginning of this, they interviewed like 300 witnesses already against Diddy. Now, the Feds just recently said that they believe it's going to take them about 6 weeks to lay out Diddy's whole entire case, and Diddy is saying it's only going to take him about 2 weeks to do it for his side. But now that we're learning that other alleged victims that are saying something happened to them with Diddy are coming forward and giving their testimony, which have nothing to do with this criminal case as a whole, is absolutely wild. But y'all, let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments.
Hey family, comment down below, how much time do y'all think he'll be doing? Because at this point, for Diddy to get away scotch-free, it would be a miracle. Definitely. I mean, especially like I said, with the evidence that they have, just the fact that he's trying to tell the judge that they can't use the evidence seized in the raids shows that there was at least evidence seized. Okay, now if that evidence is able to be used, that's definitely going to sway the jury, and it's evidence at the end of the day. So how much time, if any, do you think he'll end up doing? Comment that down below. Smash the like button, subscribe, turn on post notifications, because I'm dropping these daily uploads for y'all multiple times a day. Been working for y'all. I love you guys. I'm going to catch you guys in the next one.